This is Ray Porter. I play Darkseid in the Justice League, and you're watching The Arroyo Show. Well, it's amazing to me that in 34 seconds, Zack Snyder can pack more suspense and foreboding than a lot of people can in an entire film.
Welcome on in, you guys. Thank you for joining us. This is The Arroyo Show. I am Brandon Arroyo. If it's your first time here, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. What a fantastic guest we have here for you today. In a world of fans waiting for a Justice League trailer, perhaps no one more ready to see this than my guest, Ray Porter. Ray Porter, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
It's so great to sit here and chat with you. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day.
Happy to do it.
So, Zack Snyder's Justice League will be on HBO Max in 2021.
Yes.
However, we just got our first look at the teaser trailer. We saw Darkseid. Did you see the trailer?
Yes.
Okay.
I got up yesterday and just checked Twitter, and it was so I looked at the video and I was giggling. It was pretty cool.
Well, I was going to ask, was anybody with you when you saw the trailer? What was going on around you when you saw it?
No, I was on my own. I mean, I just, and then I immediately copied the link and sent it off to a bunch of friends, and people are freaking out. It's really good. It's really cool. I mean, Gal Gadot, she looks terrified. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, the intensity in that trailer and just the special effects, it looks like something it's going to be far, far beyond worth the wait.
Well, it's amazing to me that in 34 seconds, Zack Snyder can pack more suspense and foreboding than a lot of people can in an entire film.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at it externally, not oh, look, that's me. Looking at it, it's really amazing. It's only 34 seconds, but it's huge. So, very exciting.
For you personally, when you saw that trailer, what were you feeling? Because this is something that's been a long time coming for you.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a very much an up and down kind of journey. I don't know. I mean, I got really, really excited. I got really proud. There's the thrill of well, look, that's me, kind of thing, which, I've been in the business for a long enough time that I probably should be less enthusiastic about stuff like that, but I'm always a dork that way. I'm like, oh, look, that's me. It was very exciting and so well done. Again, I just thought, I was like, God. So, yeah, I may have watched it once or 50 times.
You know what? You're not the only one. I mean, over 1 million views in the first 24 hours. Does that just blow your mind, the scale and the devotion of this fan base that still is so extremely into these characters?
The greatest and most pleasant surprise I've had this entire journey is how devoted and how passionate and how kind all of the fans are. I mean, and really, it's the fans that have a hand in this thing getting released. They were amazing and persistent, and we finally get to see the great movie that Zack directed.
And so much work went into this, and so much not behind the scenes, but after the filming takes place. There's so much special effects that takes place. Had you ever worked in a mocap suit, motion capture, prior to this?
No, I hadn't. I'd never done performance capture either. I mean, my background is Shakespeare and and that sort of thing. Not a lot of call to wear the black lycra suit. And I mean, just to give you a visual, me and Kieran Hines wearing black lycra. That'll keep her from going to sleep tonight. No, it was really, really incredible. And, for me, being a little bit of a tech geek, too, just kind of looking at how all of it was done and how it was all achieved was endlessly exciting. But no, I had not worked that way. And it requires something a little bit different of you. You're wearing a headgear with two little cameras right in your face. Excuse me. And So your eye lines are sort of blocked and everything, and you just try to act through it.
In the sports world, there are certain types of coaches that are called a player's coach, where all the players just really rally behind this coach. And for some reason, anywhere I've seen it, Zack Snyder seems to be the actor's director, the type of director that people get behind. What is it about?
He's an incredibly kind person. This is like not even getting to his brilliance as a director. And I mean, I'm a massive fan of his going way back. He's everything you would want in a really good leader. He's incredible. He's capable of getting a lot out of you. He's very efficient. The general sense is everybody is there and everybody is very happy to be led by Zack on that set. I loved working with him. I would work with him under any circumstances. He's a great, great person. And his wife, Debbie, is amazing as well. They're just two of the kindest people you would ever want to meet.
And how much of a difference does that make on set to have a leader like that on set that you can go in there and want to perform for?
I've been really lucky in that I've gotten to work with, by and large, I've gotten to work with directors who make you feel that way. I just saw it's the 20th anniversary of Almost Famous, which makes me feel old, but also, I remember Cameron Crowe is very much like that as well. It's not like we're following this general or something. It's just you naturally want to do the work that he wants to do. You very naturally want to obviously please him, but you want to achieve that together. And I found that to be very much the same way with Zack. And when you consider everything that he's got to be in charge of and take care of, it's almost overwhelming. And he manages in the middle of all of that to have amazing humanity, a very funny person, and an incredible director. He's able to get performances out of actors that are marvelous. So
you've mentioned the 20-year anniversary of Almost Famous. Can you take me back to portraying Rhodey Mick and what exactly you remember most from your experiences with that film?
That was, I posted yesterday on social media that it was, the best summer I ever spent 20 years ago. And it really, really was. I went in there and I wasn't even sure necessarily what I was going to be doing. And I had a much larger part, lines and an arc and everything like that. But at the wrap party, Cameron came over to me and said, I've got 5 hours of movie shot. And I knew at that point, that even though Kate Hudson and I have similar hair, she'd probably get a little more screen time, which was fine. It was such a great adventure. I can tell you, if you watch that movie or if you're familiar with that movie, there's this feeling when all of the band is together, when they're doing shows or, singing Tiny Dancer on the bus. That really is what it felt like. We'd sit around all day laughing and playing guitar, and sometimes they would put a camera on us and we would laugh and play guitar. It was marvelous.
I love to hear it. It's always so amazing to hear that kind of story of a set that just has that that vibe on it, where it's a real family. And I'm really glad to hear that was. It was incredible. A lot of love on that. So audiobooks, talk to me about how did that get started? Where did that whole journey begin?
Well, it looks really foreboding where I am. I'm actually in my sort of homemade audio recording booth. But I was at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for a long time, like 18 seasons. I came down to Los Angeles, and I had been coming to Los Angeles and doing TV shows and films and that sort of thing. But I decided to leave the theater. I was going to come down here because I was married. I wanted to be a husband rather than a phone bill, Yeah. And there was something I needed to do. And I'd been eyeing audiobooks for a very long time, but had never really approached it. I made some calls. I auditioned. They sent me a book. It did really well. So they sent me another one, and it just sort of snowballed from there. And I now have something like 400 titles on Audible. In fact, when I finish up with you today, I'm going right back into recording because I've got stuff going on. But it's been really good. And I can say during quarantine, I'm uh, I'm one of the fortunate few who has been able to continue to work because I can record from home. So I know a lot of people are having a very hard time right now, and I don't, I'm not bragging or anything like that. I'm incredibly grateful that I've been able to continue working.
And congratulations on all the success. It's been really great to see.
Thank you.
And I've really enjoyed researching your career because you've done so many really cool things.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, because I don't want to keep you too long, I would love to chat with you real quick just about, you had a story I'd heard of how when the word first got out that you were going to be taking part in Justice League, that your phone was blowing up and you thought, oh no, what happened?
So, like anything you do nowadays, you sign an NDA. So I had signed all of the NDA stuff, way before, and then word came that Mr. Whedon was going to be taking over production, and then I found out that he had cut my part, from the film, which was sad. But it happens. It's Hollywood. But I'm still under that NDA. I couldn't say anything. And I start seeing all this speculation online. That was when I first started hearing the rumbles from the release, the Snyder Cut movement, And you got Kevin Smith talking about, he'd heard that Darkseid was in the movie. And I'm reading these articles online of like, who do you think Darkseid is? And, obviously they're going with all these names and, and all of that stuff. And I'm just kind of sitting there quietly in my apartment here in Pasadena, like, but I didn't, one morning I wake up and I think I'd gone to bed that night, I think with like 300 Twitter followers, from people who listen to audiobooks and all that. And it was, whatever. I checked Twitter and suddenly it's like 3,000. I'm like, what? And all these messages. Heard you play Darkseid in Justice League. Heard you play. And I panicked. And I immediately emailed Warner Brothers and I emailed DC and was like, I never said a word, because I didn't, and I was really loath to say anything for a really long time. When Zack announced the way he did it, I don't know if you saw that video, but oh my God, the way that he announced it was going to be released on HBO Max in 2021. I texted him after, congratulating him and everything, and I said, can I please come out now and say that I played this role? And he said yes. So on his word, I was like, okay, finally, I can do that. And so I made that declaration on Twitter of like, hi, I'm Ray. I played Darkseid in Justice League. There, it's out now.
Oh, man. And how great did it feel to finally, because this wasn't just something that was a couple of years in the making. We're talking about 4 or 5 years in the making.
4 years, yeah. It was great. It was... I cannot say enough about the community of fans that I have, I guess, virtually met on Twitter, and how kind everyone has been, and how supportive and how excited. And they put me to shame as far as their knowledge of canon and of the comic books and all of that stuff. It's like, God, I got a lot of studying to do. But I was welcomed into this community, I guess, and that was marvelous. It was great. It was very liberating, very freeing to finally be able to say, yes, I did this. So,
Ray, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time today. We really appreciate it. It's always great
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hear from you. And I know that we're all going to be so excited to see in 2021, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
2021. Absolutely. Thank you.